Welcome back, all you sports and gambling fans out there. Today, it's just me, and I'm going to be talking about some NFL. Now, I know it's a bit early to speculate about what could happen when the season arrives, but I'm sure that we can at least get an idea of what to expect. Anyways, let's kick it off by looking at the AFC East and how things have gotten more interesting. Now, first on our list, of course, the reigning champs, the New England Patriots. Right now, they are plus 600 moneyline favorites to win the Super Bowl again. But in my opinion, that seems highly unlikely considering all the recent movement going on. Yet there have been cases where the least expected happens. So I'm just going to, I don't really want to bite my tongue on this one, so I'm just going to talk about what's going on as of late. Now, they just re-signed Devin McCourty to a 5-year deal, but decided not to pick up Darrelle Revis's $20 million option, and also bid farewell to all-pro defensive lineman Vince Wilfork. Now, I think that management knows what they're doing, right? We still have no word on Deflategate, so with all this being said, what do you think? Do the Pats have any chances of winning back-to-back Super Bowls? Up next, we have the Miami Dolphins, who are taking a huge gamble on a former Detroit Lion, Ndamukong Suh. A $114 million gamble, I'd say, on a 6-year contract with $60 million guaranteed. But hey, at least it's better than landing with the Raiders, or is it? Bookies had the Fins at plus 4,000 to win the Super Bowl, but as soon as the news came in that Suh was on their roster, that line dropped to plus 2,800. But in my opinion, they're definitely going to need a lot more than just Suh to consider winning a Super Bowl, though they should improve their 8-8 seasons to maybe a 9-7 or a 10-6. We'll just have to wait and see. The third team on the list is the Buffalo Bills, whose sportsbooks had them at a high plus 4,800. But when they acquired LaShawn McCoy in a trade with the Eagles for Kiko Alonso, they quickly moved to plus 2,800. They also brought in Matt Cassell to compete with E.J. Manuel for starting quarterback role, which seems like a lateral move since they already had Kyle Orton fighting for that role. Anyways, I want to close this one out saying that I'm not a Rex Ryan fan as a head coach. He might be great putting up together defenses, but as a head coach, I think the shoes are just a bit too big for him. But that shouldn't take away from this team being a pretty decent opponent for next season. Maybe 11-5, or am I being a little bit too generous? How about 10-6? What do you say? And finally, this journey has brought us all the way to New York, where we find the Jets. Yes, sir, the Jets. And well, they were at plus 10,000 to win the Super Bowl. But with the news that they added Brandon Marshall to the receiver squad, that dropped to plus 8,000. Obviously, not much of an improvement there. And I mean, yeah, we do see that Marshall is a great wide receiver who will probably wear out his welcome sooner rather than later, as he does everywhere that he goes. But the biggest issue here is who's going to throw the ball to him? I mean, sure, we're going to definitely hear him vociferate this quite adamantly by week 3, or even, who knows, it might be earlier in week 2 or 1. The deal is, we know that he bitches when he doesn't get the ball. I'm just itching to see his reaction now that even if they did want to get him the ball, probably won't be possible. I mean, who's gonna pass it? Geno? I mean, hell, even Brian Hoyer passed on the opportunity to play with the Jets and headed down south to play with the Texans instead. And now they're just trying to lobby for Ryan Fitzpatrick? Anyways, I think it's about time to consider some new strategy from the Jets head office. Anyways, they could also take another quarterback in the draft and hope that they pull a Brady or a Manning from the 6th round. Highly doubtful. But hey, there is some good news for the Jets. They finally got rid of their cancer Rex Ryan, and they could probably go 5-11 or maybe even 6-10 with some extra luck for next season. Regardless of all the changes made here in the AFC East, I still believe that the champs don't really have much of a challenge in the division. Now, I agree that some of their rivals have improved slightly, but it's just a bit too early to speculate on what could or will happen. Anyways, what do you think? I mean, who's going to be a little bit more complicated for Brady and company this season? Maybe the Bills, maybe the Fins? I know I got my money on the Bills. Anyways, I'll be back with more NFL news and odds soon. Till then, for SBR Picks, this is Dax Floyd.